What would you describe as Obamunism?
I would say that's the present administration's attempt to socialize private functions. Yeah.
Do you think we should have free market police and fire departments as well?
No, I think there's an appropriate role for government, but I don't think that it extends into things that should be kept in the private sector.
Okay. And healthcare is one of those things?
Yes.
Okay. Do you oppose Medicare? When you turn 65, you qualify for Medicare?
Yeah, I think that the problem, I don't oppose Medicare. Bankruptcy is not healthy. Because it's not. It's bad for people. So people like my parents who will need Medicare, they'll get their checks, but I won't get mine, but I've been paying into it for 20 years. And so it's just the government should be honest and say, okay, we realize that we're not going to provide this service for you, so we're going to stop collecting that money from you because we are, we're not going to perpetuate the myth that we're actually going to do something to help you when they don't have that ability.
So what do you feel about the mandate where they've taken and they still have the private insurance industry, but under a mandate we're going to have to buy private insurance?
I'm not sure that it's unconstitutional, as some people say, but I think it's really, really unwise because as soon as you force people to buy it, it's going to kill the competition. I mean, and eventually what it really is, and we've seen evidence of this over and over in the last few weeks, is that this healthcare bill is just the first step in a long ideology and a long plan to try to create a single payer system. And that is bad for everybody. It's bad for the government, it's bad for the taxpayers, it's bad for the consumers, and it's bad for people's health.
The Obamunism, I mean, obviously that's a play on communism.
Yes.
Do you feel that it's hyperbole, or do you feel that it's like a closer to reality?
Well, I think that's the direction, so I think...
Communism?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that, I don't think it's hyperbole to suggest that nationalizing private industries is something that is very clearly the ideology behind Marxism, socialism, communism. I mean, there are certain functions the government needs to do, like protect people and, certain crime functions and fire, as you mentioned, and environmental protections that you need government for.
What do you say to the 37, almost 40 million people in America who can't afford to buy private insurance?
Well, they're screwed now because now they're going to be forced to buy it. So they just got screwed by the government. So everyone's running around saying, we're covering them, but we're not. We're forcing them to buy something. So you're not doing them any favors. Because now you basically have taken somebody who's already in a bad situation and you've made it worse. I was somebody who didn't have health care for a long time in the last 10 years. And I just couldn't afford it. And I had a choice to make. And I was like, I'm going to either have a car payment or a health care plan. And at times I decided I'd rather have a car that I can drive around and go to work because I lived in a city where I needed a car, and that was more important to me. There's no reason for people to believe that I should be paying for their health care any more than they should be paying for mine. Like right now I have a son, and do you think your tax dollars should be taken to pay for him to have health care?
Personally, I do. And actually under private insurance, that's actually how that works, is you pay your premium and that goes to pay everybody's benefits.
Well, right. That's how, but it's a private industry. It's not run by the government. And what happens is anytime the government takes something over, you'll notice it fails. Look at the trains. Look at the post office. Those are multi-billion-dollar liabilities. They're in the red every year. We subsidize them, and the reason they don't succeed is because they don't have to compete in a free market. And that's what will happen eventually in any country that chooses what this administration has chosen, which is to try to privatize or to nationalize something that shouldn't be nationalized. As soon as you do that, over time, what happens is eventually you get to a single payer system, and it hurts lots of people, and lots of people end up dying because they don't get the kind of health care that they could have. And all the money and that comes from the profits that the private companies would make, that they invest in research and development, and all the leads that they make in the healthcare industry that we've been a leader in as a country for so many years, those are going to be the first things to disappear. I think that you should have the ability to purchase healthcare, and depending on what level of priority you think it is, then you can make it that priority in your budget. Just like buying a car or any other item or thing that a home.